In a strategic move aimed at bolstering regional ties, Chinese President Xi Jinping is slated to embark on a three-nation tour in mid-April with visits planned to Malaysia, Vietnam and Cambodia. This upcoming journey signifies a critical phase in China's diplomatic efforts to strengthen its relationships with neighboring countries amid growing concerns about the United States' foreign policy direction under President Donald Trump, who is currently facing scrutiny for his administration's approach to international alliances. According to diplomatic sources, Xi's visit to Malaysia is expected to last 3 days and is viewed as an opportunity to build upon the productive discussions held during his November meeting with Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim in Beijing. One source commented the trip will definitely be good for boosting bilateral ties, highlighting the optimism surrounding the potential for enhanced cooperation between the two nations. This tour marks Xi's first international travel of the year and comes at a time when China is keen to position itself as a reliable regional partner. With the U.S. commitment to Southeast Asia increasingly questioned, particularly in light of Trump's apparent disregard for traditional alliances, Xi's visit aims to reassure neighboring countries of China's stability and support. The timing is crucial as it coincides with heightened anxieties in the region regarding U.S. policy shifts that could impact economic and security dynamics. China has long maintained strong trading relationships with Southeast Asian nations, but it is also embroiled in ongoing territorial disputes in the South China Sea that complicate its regional standing. The upcoming visits are seen as an opportunity for Xi to address these tensions and emphasize China's role as a cooperative partner rather than a confrontational power. The geopolitical landscape is further complicated by the backdrop of U.S.-China relations, which have been strained by trade tensions and diplomatic disagreements. Recent reports indicate that a potential summit between Xi and Trump could be on the horizon, but logistical challenges and mutual wariness have made arrangements difficult. Chinese officials have expressed caution, seeking a more stable foundation for discussions before committing to a high-profile meeting between the two leaders. Amid these diplomatic maneuvers, Xi's engagement with other nations in the region serves to reinforce China's influence and counterbalance U.S. presence. As the political climate evolves, the implications of Xi's tour may extend beyond mere bilateral agreements, shaping the future of regional cooperation and economic partnerships in Southeast Asia. In conclusion, as Xi prepares for his tour, the international community will be watching closely to see how these interactions might redefine China's relationships with its neighbors and influence the larger geopolitical landscape. The outcomes of these discussions could set the stage for a new era of cooperation or further entrench existing tensions, depending on how both China and the U.S. navigate their respective foreign policies in the coming months. In a significant diplomatic meeting held on March 28, 2025, Chinese President Xi Jinping welcomed Mohammad Yunus, the chief advisor of Bangladesh's interim government, to Beijing. This meeting not only underscores the long-standing ties between China and Bangladesh but also marks a crucial moment as Bangladesh seeks to redefine its international alliances following recent political upheaval. During the meeting at the Great Hall of the People, Xi emphasized the historic friendship between the two nations rooted in the ancient Silk Road, which has fostered mutual support and cooperation since the establishment of diplomatic relations. This year marks the 50th anniversary of our diplomatic ties, Xi noted, expressing China's commitment to enhancing bilateral cooperation. He stated, China is ready to work with Bangladesh to bring our cooperation to new heights and deliver greater benefits to both our peoples. The backdrop to this meeting is critical. Yunus, a Nobel laureate and prominent economist, stepped into his role following the ousting of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina amid widespread protests in August 2024. In this context, his visit to China serves as a strategic pivot, particularly as relations with India, Bangladesh's historically significant neighbor, have become strained. Yunus's trip was characterized by tangible outcomes, including a reported $2.1 billion in investments, loans and grants from China aimed at strengthening Bangladesh's infrastructure and economic landscape. Key initiatives discussed include the establishment of a Chinese industrial economic zone in Bangladesh, which will see nearly 30 Chinese companies investing approximately $1 billion. Additionally, China has pledged $400 million to modernize Bangladesh's Mongla port, a move that signifies deepening economic ties and collaboration in critical areas such as water resource management. Yunus's administration has welcomed these investments, viewing them as vital for the country's economic transition. In his remarks, Yunus reaffirmed Bangladesh's commitment to the One China principle, voicing his government's desire to deepen ties under the Belt and Road Initiative. Bangladesh is willing to work with China to push for greater development of our comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership, he stated, highlighting a mutual interest in fostering economic growth and stability. However, this burgeoning relationship poses both opportunities and risks for Bangladesh. Analysts are cautioning that while diversifying alliances away from India could reduce dependence, it may also provoke geopolitical tensions. Jasmine Lorch, a senior researcher at the German Institute of Development and Sustainability, noted deepening cooperation with China is bound to anger India as it brings Beijing's influence closer to its border. This reflects a delicate balancing act for Yunus's interim government as it navigates its foreign policy amid regional rivalries. As Bangladesh strengthens its ties with China, its relationship with India appears increasingly precarious. The Modi government, which had previously enjoyed a close rapport with Hasina, now finds itself at odds with Yunus's administration, particularly in light of the latter's independent foreign policy stance. While Yunus has expressed a desire to maintain cordial relations with India, the lack of response from New Delhi regarding his proposed visit underscores the complexities of this diplomatic landscape. Looking ahead, the implications of this evolving partnership will be closely monitored, particularly as both leaders are set to attend an Asian Economic Summit in Bangkok later this week. The response from India and the broader regional dynamics will play a crucial role in shaping the future of Bangladesh's foreign relations. As Yunus's interim government seeks to solidify its position, the balance between engaging with China and managing ties with India will be pivotal in determining the trajectory of Bangladesh's international standing. Thus, the next steps taken by both Bangladesh and India in the wake of these developments will be critical as they navigate a path towards stability and cooperation amidst the shifting geopolitical landscape. On March 28, 2025, a significant diplomatic meeting took place in Beijing, marking a pivotal moment in China-Bangladesh relations. President Xi Jinping welcomed Mohammad Yunus, the chief advisor of the Bangladeshi interim government, at the Great Hall of the People. This meeting comes as both nations celebrate the 50th anniversary of their diplomatic ties and the designation of this year as the China-Bangladesh People-to-People Exchange Year, underscoring the importance of their long-standing partnership. During their discussion, Xi emphasized the historical and cultural connections between China and Bangladesh, tracing back to the ancient Silk Road, which facilitated early exchanges between the two peoples. He articulated China's commitment to supporting Bangladesh in maintaining its national sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity. "We have always supported each other and treated each other as equals for win-win cooperation," she stated, reflecting a mutual respect that has characterized the bilateral relationship since its inception. She called for a deepening of political mutual trust and reiterated China's readiness to enhance cooperation in various sectors, including the digital economy, green initiatives, and infrastructure development. He highlighted the opportunities presented by China's ongoing reforms and expansion of its economy, which could provide significant benefits to Bangladesh as it navigates its developmental path. The president expressed hope that both countries could leverage the Belt and Road Initiative to foster greater economic collaboration, stating, "China is ready to work with Bangladesh to advance high-quality Belt and Road cooperation." Yunus reciprocated the sentiment, reinforcing Bangladesh's commitment to the One China principle and its opposition to any movements toward Taiwan independence. He acknowledged China as a reliable partner and expressed enthusiasm about leveraging the 50th anniversary to further develop the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership. Yunus welcomed increased Chinese investment in Bangladesh, which he believes will be vital for the country's economic transition and growth. This meeting is not just ceremonial, it reflects a strategic alignment between two nations at a time when global geopolitics are increasingly complex. As China faces mounting pressure from protectionist policies, particularly from the United States, it seeks to solidify its partnerships in South Asia. The discussions between Xi and Yunus could lead to enhanced cooperation that may serve as a counterbalance to external economic challenges. On the broader economic front, China's manufacturing sector showed signs of resilience as it expanded at its fastest rate in a year. According to data released on March 31, 2025, the official Purchasing Managers' Index reached 50.5 in March, indicating growth amid the backdrop of anticipated tariffs from U.S. President Donald Trump. This positive trend in manufacturing aligns with Xi's vision of a robust economic strategy that embraces openness even in the face of rising global protectionism. China's commitment to maintaining an open economy was reiterated during Xi's interactions with international business leaders, where he positioned the country as a stable and attractive destination for foreign investment. The ongoing evolution of China's business environment toward greater transparency and predictability is seen as crucial for fostering long-term relationships with global partners. As both China and Bangladesh look to the future, their collaborative efforts could serve as a model for other nations navigating similar challenges. The strengthening of their ties, particularly in the face of global economic turbulence, underscores the potential for mutual growth and stability. In a world increasingly defined by fragmentation, the partnership between China and Bangladesh offers a glimpse of how cooperation can lead to shared prosperity. As developments unfold, the international community will be watching closely to see how these two nations capitalize on their deepening relationship to navigate the complexities of the global economic landscape. In recent weeks, the political landscape in China has become increasingly tumultuous, particularly in relation to the country's military leadership. The sudden disappearance of He Weidong, a key ally of President Xi Jinping and vice chairman of the Central Military Commission (CMC), has ignited speculation about the stability of Xi's regime. He has not been seen publicly since March 11, 2025, leading to widespread rumors of his arrest. Independent journalist Zhao Lanjian reported on March 13 that he had indeed been taken into custody. A claim later corroborated by U.S. intelligence sources, which indicated that he had likely been dismissed from his post. The Chinese government's response to these allegations has been notably evasive. On March 27, during a press briefing, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Defense stated, "There is no such information. We are not aware of the situation," which many observers viewed as a clumsy denial. This stands in stark contrast to previous scenarios where officials vociferously defended against accusations of corruption and misconduct, indicating a shift in how the party is handling internal crises. The implications of his purported downfall are significant not only for Xi's control over the military but also for the broader political dynamics within the Chinese Communist Party (CCP). Analysts suggest that the purge of He and other military leaders may indicate a power struggle within the CCP, where Xi's grip on the military, traditionally seen as essential for his authority, appears to be weakening. This precarious situation raises questions about whether his removal stems from Xi's growing suspicion of potential disloyalty or if it reflects a broader movement against Xi's leadership from within the party. Three notable military figures, Zhong Xiaojun, Miao Hua and He Weidong, have all been implicated in recent investigations, suggesting a systematic effort to eliminate those perceived as threats to Xi's authority. This trend could signal a significant shift in military loyalty dynamics, especially considering Xi's historical reliance on individuals he personally promoted to senior military positions. As former allies are ousted, it may indicate that anti-Xi factions within the military are gaining influence, potentially destabilizing Xi's leadership. Adding to the complexity, the Commission for Discipline Inspection of the Central Military Commission (CMC-CDI), tasked with purging corruption within the military, has also faced upheaval. Key figures responsible for implementing Xi's anti-corruption campaigns have been sidelined, raising concerns about the loyalty and effectiveness of those remaining within the military hierarchy. This turmoil within the CMCCDI could further complicate Xi's ability to assert control over the military, which has historically been a cornerstone of his power. Meanwhile, a newly declassified U.S. intelligence report has shed light on the pervasive corruption within the CCP, calling into question the integrity of Xi's much-publicized anti-corruption campaign. The report indicates that approximately 65% of Chinese government officials engage in corrupt practices, highlighting a systemic issue rather than isolated incidents. This revelation undermines Xi's narrative of a successful anti-graft crusade and suggests that his regime may be using corruption investigations as a means to eliminate rivals rather than to genuinely reform the system. The report also notes that the military is not immune to corruption, with promotions often contingent upon bribery rather than merit. The implications of such practices are alarming, particularly as the People's Liberation Army (PLA) is seen as integral to Xi's ambitions, including potential military actions against Taiwan. If the military's leadership is compromised by corruption, it raises significant questions about its readiness and loyalty in the face of external threats. As China grapples with these internal challenges, the future of Xi Jinping's leadership hangs in the balance. Observers speculate that the current instability may foreshadow more significant political shifts within the CCP, especially as factions vie for power and influence. The erosion of Xi's control over the military could have far-reaching consequences for China's domestic and foreign policies, particularly regarding its assertive stance in the Asia-Pacific region. In conclusion, as He Weidong's disappearance and the fallout from recent purges unfold, the situation in China remains fluid and unpredictable. The interplay between military loyalty, corruption, and Xi's hold on power will be critical in shaping the future of the CCP. As factions within the party maneuver for advantage, the potential for significant political realignment becomes increasingly likely, suggesting that the coming months may prove pivotal for both Xi Jinping and the future of China. In an ambitious move to bolster regional alliances, Chinese President Xi Jinping is poised to embark on a significant tour of Southeast Asia next month, with plans to visit Malaysia, Vietnam, and Cambodia. This trip, anticipated to occur in mid-April, marks Xi's first international journey of the year and is seen as a strategic response to the evolving geopolitical landscape, particularly amid rising tensions surrounding U.S. foreign policy under Donald Trump's second administration. According to diplomatic sources, Xi's itinerary includes a 3-day visit to Malaysia, where he is expected to engage with Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, building on a productive meeting held in Beijing last November. The visit is not merely ceremonial, it aims to reinforce existing ties and address mutual concerns, as Malaysia currently holds the chair of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations (ASEAN) and has enjoyed substantial trade growth with China. Observers believe that Xi's Southeast Asian tour is a deliberate effort to consolidate China's influence in the region, particularly in light of increasing worries regarding the U.S. commitment to its historical alliances. The tour comes at a critical time as Southeast Asia becomes a focal point for both Washington and Beijing in their ongoing rivalry. Dylan Low, a professor of diplomacy at Nanyang Technological University, highlighted that the U.S. is also ramping up its diplomatic efforts in the region, indicating a fierce competition that is likely to escalate. China has established robust trading relationships with its Southeast Asian neighbors, with Vietnam emerging as the largest trading partner within ASEAN, accounting for over a quarter of the region's trade volume as of last year. Meanwhile, Cambodia has benefited significantly from Chinese investments, especially in infrastructure, as part of the Belt and Road Initiative. Xi's meetings in these countries will likely focus on enhancing economic cooperation and addressing mutual interests, setting the stage for China to position itself as a key regional partner. However, the implications of Xi's diplomatic outreach extend beyond economics. The backdrop of Xi's travels highlights a broader geopolitical strategy aimed at countering U.S. influence in the region. This is particularly poignant given the historical context of territorial disputes in the South China Sea, where China's assertiveness has raised concerns among its neighbors. As regional anxieties grow regarding U.S. reliability, Xi's tour is likely to be framed as a reaffirmation of China's role as a responsible power willing to engage with its neighbors. Additionally, the recent political developments in Bangladesh under interim leader Muhammad Yunus further complicate the regional dynamics. Yunus's pivot towards China, marked by his recent visit to Beijing, signals a significant shift in Bangladesh's foreign policy from its traditionally India-centric approach. This recalibration not only risks altering the balance of power in South Asia but also positions China as a formidable player in Bangladesh's economic landscape. For India, the evolving relationships in Southeast Asia, particularly the burgeoning China-Bangladesh axis, present a strategic challenge. The prospect of a neighboring country aligning more closely with Beijing could undermine India's regional influence and security, compelling New Delhi to rethink its diplomatic strategies in South Asia. In response, India may need to enhance its own engagement with Bangladesh and other regional partners to counterbalance China's growing presence. As Xi Jinping gears up for his Southeast Asian tour, the stakes are high. The outcomes of these diplomatic endeavors will not only shape the immediate economic relationships but also influence the broader geopolitical landscape in Asia. With the US and China vying for dominance, the coming months will be crucial in determining how regional dynamics unfold and whether China can solidify its position as a leading power in Southeast Asia while addressing the concerns of its neighbors.